Hello, hello, everybody. I hope you can see me and hear me. I think I turned everything on. I always worry when it seems too easy to get started, but it is so good to see you. So Bonnie's here. How about that? Hello, Bonnie. It's so good to see her. Marsha's here. Jody is here. Sonia's here. It's so good to see you. So almost springtime, I tell you. So does that mean, Marsha, that your snow is melted? Because that would be nice, wouldn't it? So, there's Diane 57. Here is Laura Rylander. There's Kathleen Champ. It is so good to see all of you. So, boy, I have been a very good girl. You can't tell it because this still looks messy. I'll try to get that cleaned up. But let me see if I can show you the counter back there is almost fully cleaned off. Whoops. And then my tables over here, look at that. And if you could see down the hall, you would see that my hall counter, which is the bane of my existence, is pretty cleaned off too. So, thank you, Kathleen. I am loving this shirt. It's so funny. I used to look at it. I think I got it from Romans or Woman Within. I forget which one. Michelle Lang. And I looked at this shirt for 2 years. I wanted it so badly. It reminds me of the men's Oxford shirts that they used to wear. And I loved it. But it was like, I don't know, $39. And that's just too rich for my blood. So I waited and waited and waited. And I finally got it on sale for probably somewhere less than $20. I grabbed it. Now I wish I'd grabbed two. I get more compliments on this shirt than any. So hello, let's see. Oh, Betty Middleton is here. It is so good to see you, my Michelle Lang. I tell you what, just knowing that she's out there made such a difference. You know, when I had to go for my recheck and the testing, just knowing that Michelle was there, because she's a brave, sassy, but sweet as can be lady. And that was so nice. So I love my Michelle. I always say that, but it's true. I miss her terribly. So let me see. Kathleen Champ, she's one of our new Sunshine gals. So I'm excited to see her too. Laura Ryland. Oh, this is so good to see all of you. Pat, there she is. That's right. You went back to Maryland. I'm so happy. No falling down, no pain. And hello to all Pat's grandkids. I know Jenny. The boys have real cool names, but right now I can't remember them. But I know the granddaughter is Jenny. So hi, Pat's grandchildren. You're so lucky to have such a good Nana. So, oh, wow. And he washed it with, okay. You know what? That was something I was going to talk to y'all about today myself. Remember the Jenny Beyer quilt? I bought the fabric myself and made it, and I didn't pre-wash it. And when I spilled a Coke on it, a soda on it, it ran. So I washed it. Well, I tried Thatcher and Xander. I knew they had cool names. I just couldn't remember. But hi, Thatcher and Xander and Jenny. Hi. So I used a Shout color catcher today, but it still ran a little bit more. And you know what? I'm just going to love it the way it is. Let me see. It's probably a little too difficult for me to find right now. Oh, here it is. It's not too difficult. I have a huge basket. Okay. So I was talking to you about this room. Okay. I I think it was the hot tea yesterday. I drank that caffeine rush. I came down and I worked so hard. Even look at that corner. Isn't that corner right there? Isn't that cool? I mean, I was cleaning out everything. And I found this because I've done such a good job of cleaning out. And I think I told y'all one time this had like 27 pieces per block. Oh no, it's like 40 something. And see these blocks? Now, right now, they're a little wrinkly. I washed them again yesterday, hoping that the original running would come out with a color catcher. Well, the color catcher worked. You see that? But it either ran a little bit more or the other stuff just didn't come out. It was set in there. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy it anyway. Here is one of the blocks where the color, I don't know if I don't think it's really showing, but you can see it on this one where the color ran. But you know what? I sewed all of this by hand. Every bit. I cut it all out with templates. And just washing an unfinished piece can cause a good amount of unraveling. So guess what? I am not going to wash it again. I'm going to love it like it is. But isn't this going to be nice? I think it's 20 blocks. So that would be 4 blocks wide by 5 blocks down. And I did this 2001 or 2002. But isn't it nice? It makes a secondary pattern. But I did this all by hand, and I'm going to finish this because it is gorgeous. And, you know, I tell you what, Jenny Beyer fabrics are amazing. But isn't that pretty? So this is now on. Thank you, Kathleen. But I just thought I would show you the color catcher if I had used it the first time. I didn't even know about them 20 years ago. Because that's, oh, my God. This is 20 years old. And it's still in blocks. So I'm dating myself. But you know what? I'm going to enjoy it like it is. And I'm going to just assume people think that was batik fabric. Because it kind of looks like a batik fabric. See this gray? It kind of looks like a batik. So it was a batik that had a little burgundy in it. But I think that's what you do. If you wash it with a color catcher, and still not all of it comes out, you just love it. You know, it's like me. I've had so many abdominal surgeries with my C-sections, my gallbladder, and now my kidney. You just got to love me like I am. It looks like a crisscross map on my abdomen, but that's okay. So sometimes we just have to love things the way they are. So anyway, this is one of my UFOs. It's been logged in, and it's going to take me a while. What I did is I put it on delicate because these unfinished blocks, they will unravel. And so I put it on delicate, on cold water, hoping to get that dye out. And obviously some dye was moving to make the sheet pink because they're normally white. And but now I'm going to take this upstairs, and in my evenings, because I'm going to finish it by hand. I mean, if you started it by hand, I think let's finish it by hand. So I've got to find the border because this corner piece came from the border I'm using. So I've got to find the Jenny Beyer border. But anyway, I thought I would show you that. And Michelle asked the perfect question. And so I need to put on my list, too, to get some more of those color catcher sheets. Some people, okay, are you ready for this? I just saw someone, doesn't the dark red look like velvet? That's the reason. Jenny Beyer fabric is high quality fabric. But the reason it can run, it doesn't mean it's cheap or bad. Her colors are so saturated that reds and blues sometimes will run. So, okay. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes you can take, if you're worried about a color running, you can add vinegar to help set the color and you can add salt. So sometimes that really helps. Oh, you watched my visit to her shop. I'm so glad I did that because now her shop is closed. She only has an online warehouse. And I don't blame her. Her husband passed a year ago and she had a shop for 20 years. That's a long time. So, but I'm so glad that I have those memories and photos because she's my best. I started quilting. I think I took a little introductory class because mostly I'm self-taught, but I took a little introductory class probably in 1988 or 89 and tried to do a little quilting, but then pretty much put it down for about 10 years and then picked it up when I saw Jenny Beyer fabrics and a Jenny Beyer. I saw her quilt that just knocked my socks off. It was called Moon Glow. And I bought that pattern 20 years ago, the whole kit, and it's sitting over in a drawer. I found it again this morning, and I'm going to start working on that very soon. Right now, I'm trying to do UFOs, recording them, deciding which ones need to get done and get those done. But I said, you know what? If I felt like when I bought the Moon Glow kit, I wasn't talented enough yet to do it justice. But if I had done it, I'd have been enjoying it this past 20 years. So it's going to be done right away. The one good thing about finding out that I had kidney cancer is it's given me a new appreciation. It's given me a little wake-up call that said, girlfriend, this is your only shot or turn it back. Make it count. So, and luckily with all my tests after my surgery, I'm clear and I'm taking very good care of my one little remaining kidney and she's working perfectly. So it's all good. And you know what? I looked doing this UFO search. I realized, hi, Miss Cheryl. I realized I have a lot of fabric. And I don't really need to go fabric shopping right now. If something comes along that really knocks my socks off, then I'll get it. But otherwise, I've got 5 to 10 Jenny Beyer kits alone. Come on, Deb. So that's, just kind of, I'm doing house cleaning in my soul and in my physical world and in my heart. And kind of decide what is really important and clearing out the stuff that isn't. In fact, I've got I haven't told the people yet, but I've always done since 2013, I've done a yearly retreat at a camp not too far from here. And this past year, because I had the surgery, I turned it over to some of the groups, the gals we call the Raleigh gals, and they did a great job running it. It was a smaller one because of COVID. But I think I might just let it stay with them. And as long as I can go and enjoy, I was talking to Mark last night about it when I was getting ready to fall asleep. And he said, wouldn't it be nice to go to a retreat and all you do is enjoy being a retreater and not running it? And I said, you know what? It does sound good. And I think that at this stage of life, I said, stress is not good. I've got to take care of my one kidney. So I don't need stress. Stress raises your blood pressure, which then hurts your kidney. So I don't really need the stress. And I've worked so hard to get at a happy and healthy place in my life. And now I need to enjoy it. I've got grandbabies. Do you know that my grandson is going to be 7 months old before I can even get a vaccination? And I haven't met him in person yet. So I think I'm going to turn over the retreat. And if any of you were hoping to come to the retreat, I'll make sure I'll talk when I ask them if they would like to take it on from now on. I'm going to say as long as I can be invited, and maybe I can invite a friend or two. But I think it's time for me to step back and work. I love this channel, and I love you. And all of you have just been so good for my heart and my life. So I'm going to stick with what works. And running a retreat is a huge amount of work. And I did everything myself except prizes and tote bag. We had a woman who volunteered, which was a lot of work, to embroider all the tote bags. And then I had a lovely lady who did a huge job of finding scores and scores of prizes to hand out. But otherwise, all of the dealing with the money, the reservations, the rooms, I had to keep an Excel spreadsheet because the last time we had over 40 people, 43, 45 people signed up. That's a lot to keep track of. Then I did all the games and everything once we were there. It was a lot. So I told him I'll still do the bingo game because I invented this, or I didn't invent it, but I made my own quilt bingo game using quilt language and like 10 years ago. And so for all the years, I said, if I go back, I'll still do the quilt bingo for them because it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. Now, so I got thinking about that, and I just have to call the ladies and say, because they were going to, we'll turn all of it over for you after the holidays, and I haven't heard from them yet. So I think they're giving me plenty of space because I think it was meant to be. They're a wonderful, energetic group of ladies from a little further east in the state, and I think they'd be wonderful. So anyway. Okay, but yeah, that's I've been doing that retreat for a long time, and it's very popular, and I love it. But now I can just go and enjoy. So anyway, all right. So enough of that. Didn't plan on getting caught up in that, but okay. So as of this morning, I went through every space that I could think of that might have a UFO. Mark helped me look in the top of both of the closets, and I have probably 30 fabric groupings or kits that I haven't started yet up in the top of the closet. Hello. So over the next year, I think I'm going to take some that I'm a little less fond of and do giveaways. So that will be coming up later in this year. I do have some things that I gathered up that I'm going to find a new home for. But I got through, last week we had several people win the things that I was rehoming. And the postage adds up. So I'm going to show you the things that I would like to pass along. And I'll have some more next week that I'd like to pass along. But just understand, I'm going to wait until at least April 1st before I do another drawing. I'll show you the items, I'll set them aside, and I'll do the drawing when I can manage. I budget the postage, so it's just the way it is right now. But the good news is that Kathleen Champ, Kathleen Kendall, Diane 57, all got their packages mailed. They're on their way to them. And then I finally actually mailed Marsha's and Diana Wright's, which I was supposed to do right after Christmas. So anyway, oh, you're a sweetheart. Well, let's just see. We'll see how we do. But I truly love it to be a gift for you. But I have to just kind of budget that out. So, because, fabric's heavy. But anyway, all right. So I told y'all I would have the Bargello finished this week. Didn't get it finished. But we've still got lots of fun to do. So this morning I came down to do the last minute search for UFOs. The last count is filled up 2 pages plus. The last count of the number of UFOs, subject to change, but 60 UFOs. So now, I'm just going to say this. I thought I might have had 100. So I think, and of that 61's already completed. So, but you'll see here, as I've been searching for them, I have been recording them in here. And luckily with most of them, I could record the year that I started them because I was lucky enough to, for most of them, I put the printed out pattern with them and pages that I had printed out with information that had the date on it. So I filled up 2 whole pages here and went to the back until I can print out another page. I want to thank all of you because I probably wouldn't have done this if it hadn't been for you. And wanting to be a good example, wanting to have a show that I thought would apply to all of us because, we tend to buy things and then don't quite get around to either making them or finishing them. Dealing with projects that just weigh you down creatively because you keep feeling like I'm not going to do anything else until I get stuff done. And then you know what you end up doing? Sometimes you end up putting it down and that's it. So it's like, okay, this year being a pandemic year, you're home more and you're looking at piles of stuff everywhere. And so it's kind of like good all around. And then with spring coming, you get that little urge to do the spring cleaning. What a better way than to start a UFO count? And I've always been kind of touchy about the UFO count because I don't want to look at it as something I beat myself up about. And as women, we beat ourselves up way too much. And we don't give ourselves the credit for all the fantastic things we do. So we have to balance everything. Life is a balance, isn't it? It's about somehow staying in the neutral zone, staying in the gray, not black, not white, gray. And so that's what we're all learning. So anyway, this doing a UFO count has been wonderful because I found things I'm ready to get rid of, but I have found some projects that I forgot about or thought I had lost. And this is when you know to save something, okay? I would pull out a project and I'd say, oh my gosh, I want to sit down and sew this now. But I couldn't, but it was like, that's when you know, save that project. If it makes you excited, save it. Now, some people might say, well, I don't want to give away something because I spent money on this. That money, that's old money. And the truth is, if you were to try to sell that fabric now, you'd be lucky to get $4 a yard for it. So, is it worth that much stress, angst, and storage space? I say no, it's not worth it. And if you can give it to someone else, Miss Bonnie is the best at giving away. She's got the biggest, most generous heart you ever saw. Oh my gosh, the whole first couple years, we did giveaways with Miss Bonnie herself. She was our donor, we call her the Queen Elfkin. But anyway, it feels good. And when I put those packages in the mail this past week, I felt excited to send something to somebody else, but I could feel the stress roll off because it wasn't something hanging over my head. And I don't know if you realize it, but when we have too many of these unfinished projects, they do kind of make us feel guilty. And you know what? Guilt is not a good emotion. So I thought, so it's been fun, and I can't wait to share them with you. So this week, I've got a whole overstuffed laundry basket full of UFOs to share that you haven't seen yet. And I've got another one for next week, too. So we've got a lot of fun for the next 2 weeks. Because I don't know, I'm hoping you're enjoying this as much as I am. But rediscovering these projects is exciting. And it's kind of fun. And some of these came before my divorce. Some of them were from during the divorce. And then most of them are after, when I started my new life. And it's kind of fun to track that, you know? Oh, in fact, some of the things I have are, I don't know if they're orphan blocks, but doing block of the month competitions at Guild. And they're just not my thing. And it's like, well, then why keep them in a drawer? Find a new person. So anyway, Nadine is here. You're never late, Nadine. It's always the perfect time when Nadine gets here. So anyway, I found a really good thing by AQS. And so they're talking about, do you have multiple projects or this UFO? And then if you guys do not know, UFO means unfinished object. Just an easy way to refer. And but anyway, they said count them one by one. Take a look around your creative space and make a list of all the projects that are in the works. I did 60. And a second list may be needed for projects with purchased fabrics but haven't been started. We're not going there because I have at least 40 of those. So we're not going there. Prioritize the in the works list. I like that. That's going to be my next step. This right now is just get them all down on paper. The next step is some are more important than others, like two of my children's wedding quilts. And remember, my kids came up with this, well, as long as you're still working on the wedding quilts, it's good luck for getting married. And I did finish a wedding quilt this year. Guess what? Yep, I'm getting a divorce. So, but I don't really believe in that. So I want to get these other two wedding quilts finished, okay? So anyway, but prioritizing, that's going to be the very next step because some mean more than others. The moon glow quilt has got to go up on that list too because I don't have another 20 years to wait to get that done. All right. So then it says, grab a calendar and beginning with the highest priority schedule the project. I'm not sure I can handle that. But what I'm going to do, this is what I like to do. I keep hand projects up by my chair, by my reclining sofa that Mark and I sit on. I keep my hand projects up there. My machine projects stay down here. I don't like to machine sew at night. When my sweetie pie is done with work, I want to be sitting on the couch with him. Although the other day he made me so angry I didn't want to be anywhere near him. But that's another story. So anyway, it says try to be realistic with the time needed to complete the project. Yeah, I agree. Very important, assign a due date. I'm not going to do that. I do that now when I start a new one, but these other ones, I don't think I can be that specific, but it might help you. Then it says make it a red letter day on the calendar. I'm going to make sure I make it a red letter day when I get it done. I'm going to let y'all know. You're going to get so tired of hearing, guess what? I almost have this one done because I'm going to celebrate each time. I was going to say I'd buy a little fabric each time I finish one, but I think that's going to get me farther behind in the long run. Okay. Continue scheduling the remaining projects in order of priority. I like that. One thing that I have found is certain projects you really enjoy working on. Others can be a little overwhelming. So this is a great idea I have found. You know you need to get this challenging double wedding quilt done, but it gets hard. It's hard to sew, but so many hours on it because it's so precise. Have another fun quilt, another one you're equally excited to get done. And first work on the complex quilt. But when you feel I've done it enough for today, switch to the fun one. So have two projects, a must do that's more difficult and a fun one you can't wait to do, and vary between them. That will keep you excited about working on the other. Because if you overwhelm yourself, you're going to run away from, it's going to be like my dogs when I bring out the toenail clipper. You know, they run and hide. So you don't want that to happen to you. So let's see. Okay, then it says stick to the schedule, but remember the joy. I like that. From time to time, take a few minutes to rejuvenate your creative spirit. I love that. And you know, I've seen these people like, oh, here we go. Our Linda McCollum. She does those wonderful hand-worked projects that use embellishing and little bits and things. And oh my gosh. Hi, Vicki Robles. Uh-oh, you had a restriction set. Oh, I'm so sorry, darling. We would definitely want you here, so I know we didn't set it. You poor thing. Okay, so, but I like it. They're kind of talking about what I just talked about is rejuvenate your creative spirit. Do one of the Linda McCollum handwork, embellishing, whatever, then get back to work on it. Then they said when you take a break and do something different than quilting, take a walk, go for a drive. I know during this pandemic, just getting in the car and driving is wonderful. Have you noticed that they're building? It's like all of a sudden there'll be a new house there or a new business. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know they were doing that. And then this says invite a friend over to visit with you while you work. But you know what? I can't do that right now. And then, of course, it says when your favorite song comes on, stop and dance. I like that one. I like this idea. Break projects into stages and plan out each stage. If you have little celebrations, the whole thing, I said this the other week, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Sorry, elephants, but, you know, I just try to say, could be a whale. Sorry, whales. You know what I mean? Something big. How do you handle a project that's huge? One bit at a time. How did I start cleaning this room? I came down yesterday and every surface was chock-a-block full. Well, what do you do? How do you clean a room where there's hardly room to walk through it, hardly room to sit down? What do you do? And so what I do is I pick one thing to do. Yesterday was, I'm going to take all the fabrics, collect them from all the various places, and put the fabrics away. Now, if they needed to be put again on one of the little comic boards, then I put them in a pile. If they were ready to go back in the closet, so you just pick one thing and say, right now, I'm just going to put the fabric away. And before you know it, I was down here 5 hours yesterday. And the room doesn't look perfect yet, but I don't clean up by just moving things from one place to another. If I clean up, it goes exactly where it's supposed to go. So until the last part is done, then you can stand back and go, all right, that's pretty good. So anyway, overlap projects so they're at varying stages. That's a great idea. And create a guide for each project, which I'm doing. And one of the things I love about the sheet that I'm putting my projects on, it says choose fabric, cut the fabric, piece it, assemble it, quilt it, or no, piece the backing or obtain the backing and batting, then quilting, then binding, then photographing it. So the nice thing is you have all of those squares to check off. So you feel like, I don't know about y'all, but I love checking off my list when I write things to do. So it gives you more than starting 1 square foot of space at a time. Yep, exactly. And I had Mark, it was hard for me to put my projects. I have everything. I keep everything in clear plastic bags so I can protect it and see it, and it's together, okay? And so I had a hard time trying to stack them on the top shelf in the closet. So I got his help because some had kind of tilted, which gets into the way of your space. And then I have a wall of shelves that I've had 20 some years. And I couldn't reach the top shelves, and some of the shelves had started to come off of the supports and kind of go like this. And so I said, could you give me a couple minutes? And he did. And that made such a difference. So, now I want to read. It looks like y'all are writing some good stuff. So let me come read what y'all are doing. Well, I am, and I think a lot of us this way, we're good gatherers, and we enjoy the hunt for fabrics, notions, and all of that. And when the new thing comes in, that's exciting. The problem is actually making the things you buy for. But I tell you what, when you're starting to wonder what's going to happen with your health and life, you start to realize all that stuff I've bought will be thrown in a dumpster. I don't want all my treasures to be thrown in a dumpster. And the only way to prevent that is to give them away while you're still alive or finish them so then they become treasures. Because I guarantee you, a bag of fabric, but a finished quilt, that's a treasure. So I just kind of, for myself, said, this stuff has to make sense. Because my daughters are knitters, So anyway, this is neat. Oh, boy, I'm going to have to. I just drank regular tea, and I said, this is what caffeine feels like. I'm not a coffee drinker, and I don't try to drink sodas anymore because I am trying to get in shape. I've got diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So it was like that hot tea with some, and I put in some orange juice to flavor it and sweeten it a little, and that got me going. So I said, okay, I'm going to turn into a tea drinker because hey, if that helps, that helps. So anyway, all right. So I think we've talked about that, and I'll show you a couple things I've been doing. One of the things, like I told you, is I picked a project to work on every night. This quilt, the quilt itself is already done. I'm just working on the borders, and I'm doing applique floral pattern. Need to turn. I hate the telephone. Okay, so I had all of these pieces were glued to it, but they hadn't been nurdle tuned, needle turned, and sewn down. So I went ahead and did. Now these two leaves, the lighter two haven't been needle turned, but the others have. And I love needle turn. All you end up on the back is this. Then, and I love doing all my little circles. Now, if you do freezer paper, you can do perfect circles. I do needle turn, and that's okay because I don't have to have perfect. I must have something against the light colored leaves because, oh, I know why it is. What I do when I do applique is in a space like this, if I'm going to use different colors of the silk thread, I will go ahead and take my applique needle and thread it with the different colors I need for that section, and then stick them on the arm of the couch, and I've got them there. So when I move from color to color, I've already got a threaded needle waiting for me. Well, I didn't have another needle to do the light color. So these are just tack glued down, and I will turn them under, and then they will look like the other ones. So this one, none of the leaves have yet been needle turned. But this flower, these have been needle turned. And I have some more. What I'm going to do is take all 4 borders, and I'm going to glue down all the individual pieces because I've got several more different kinds of flowers to glue on here to do. So I like to have them all tack glued in place so that when I pick it up, I just start appliquing. And I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go find them or anything, just work the way through. So every night I've been working on that, and it's nice. And sometimes I have to get off the computer some because by the end of the day, I'm tired. Well, I tell you what, I love y'all chatting. I love it. So I will make sure I watch this later, and so I don't miss any of your good chatting. All right. Then I've been obsessed with working on this because my new thing is if I start something, I want to finish it. So here is the class that I took. My cow is coming along and coming along. And like I said to the Thursday groups, it won't look the same next time you see it. I keep tweaking it, changing it, trying to find different things. And I'm really loving it. I'm falling in love with her. And I keep taking pictures with my cell phone and sending them to my daughter. And she is very tickled seeing the process. So my daughter's going to name her. And I think she has said, I think that she said it is a her, she did say. So anyway, okay. So I've been working on those things. Then, so far as things I bought, I did buy a little bit of fabric, and hopefully it'll be in by next week. But I bought strip set that was so beautiful. Well, I wanted to buy the strip set, but I was shy about spending the money. And then by the time I got around to saying, I've got to have that fabric, it's so beautiful, they were sold out by Missouri Star Quilts. Sometimes you think, I'll get it later or I'll find it somewhere else. Well, this kind, Island Boutiques, this was a special strip set made just for Missouri Star Quilts. I can't find it anywhere else but them. So they had only 5-inch charm packs, but I loved it so much Mark said, get it. And I did. So hopefully that'll be in next time and I'll show you. But I've learned if it's something that really sets you on fire, gets you excited, you better get it when you see it because it won't be there when you come back. Remember I bought the filane thread? And this is really cool. And Sulky makes it. Gunold, Gunold, is the parent company that makes it. And this is the wonderful thread that you can stitch on and use a brush, a metal brush, and it'll bloom. So you can make animals look like they have real fur. So Mark had to go. We had our kitchen sink was stopping up. And he said he had used Drano. He had used all kinds of things. He said, I'm getting this bottle of sulfuric acid, and it's a special, like, last ditch. And it comes in the bottle from the hardware store, but it also had a protective bag over it, sealed, saying, watch out. You have to have gloves. You have to have mask, goggles. It worked. He got up on the roof and put it down the tube. So it's like, ah. But anyway, so he said, do you need anything from the hardware store? And I said, yes, I do. I need a metal brush, because then when I stitch this on, I can then brush it and have the fur bloom. So I found, and let me tell you what, it was hard to find any metal brushes. There is a supply chain problem in the country. When you have a pandemic, some factories, and I was hard pressed to find any metal brushes. And I liked this set because it had a comfortable handle. And it came in a large one, and it came in a small one. So when I have a chance, and then this is like hard nylon bristles, I guess. Or it may, who knows, could be carbon fiber, but I doubt it. I think it's a hard nylon. But the bigger one, the nylon one, I gave to Mark. And because you know what? I knew I wasn't going to ever use it. So give it to him right away. Cut down the clutter in my room. And my room I'm getting clean. So hopefully I will take some time and do a sample of this and show you how amazing it is. So that will be coming up. Anyway, that's my new thing I bought. This, I showed you last week, I think. I bought these. So, all right. What was I was getting ready to say something. Mary Zaire is here. How great to see Mary Zaire. So, okay. Also, I organized my paper beads, and I probably have more, but I have 4.5 gallon bags, Ziploc gallon bags of paper beads. So now I'm going to put that on my UFO list, because it's time to go ahead and sand down each end and put the finish on and do something with them. So anyway, all right. Well, I will keep working on this Bargello because I really like it. I want to finish it, put a binding on. This is a quilt as you go. As I add a new strip, I sew it down on top of the batting, the backing, and as I stitch it, it's already quilted. It just needs a binding, and then it's ready to put on the table for spring. So I will continue to work on that. We're getting close. All right. While I was cleaning up and checking UFOs, and you know what I just realized? I need to check my UFOs that are hanging in the closet. If it's a flimsy, it's a UFO. So now I just realized there is one more place I have to check, and that's hanging in the closet. So, because I have a lot of flimsies hanging in there, and I'd like to get them finished. This is actually a UFO. I need to put this on the list, because until it's bound, and I love this one. Now let me see which one is the top, which way is top and which way is bottom. I don't know if it really matters. This is a Quilt As You Go Bargello. And I did this years ago when I first learned to do Bargello. I would say this is at least 15 years old. And that it's the Quilt As You Go, the same way I'm teaching y'all. And these strips were so long that we did them in big loops, and it was a slightly different method. We would take and hang them on a design wall to make sure we had sleep good, my Nadine, honey. So, but I think this is absolutely beautiful. And I need to bind it so I can use it. I think it's a perfect January quilt, perfect for cold weather. So I wanted to show y'all that because I was teaching you the other Bargello. So I wanted to make sure to show you that. And all right. Now, as far as things that I'm going to be giving away, and I'll put them in a special tote so we won't forget them. Here are some orphan blocks. I don't remember where these blocks came from. And sadly, it's just 4 blocks, but they're beautiful. So they do me no good right now. Oh my gosh, this was from a woman in Syracuse, New York. The only thing I can think of is maybe I was in an online group that did a block exchange. But I have 4 orphan blocks that I will, and don't worry, I'll have all your names written on paper and we'll do the drawing like we did last week. But that's going to be one of my UFO, or one of my giveaways. And then here is another, was a block of the month, kind of, if you've ever belonged to guilds, they'll do a block of the month and they'll tell you what colors and what the block is. And then, let me tilt this down a little bit so make it easy to show you. Thank goodness I have a built-in shelf to show these to you. But they're all like a type of, what do they call these? Kind of like a shooting star. And so, I mean, I've got all kinds, but it's wasted with me. And I don't want to keep it here when I think y'all would enjoy it. So, and they're beautifully sewn. All the ladies who did these, I mean, this is beautiful. So anyway, I'll put this away real quick. And this also comes with some extra fabric, probably some sashing. So I found this. Do not even remember when I got this. I have no clue, but I have a clue that it needs a new home. So Vicki Lemire is here. Okay. So that one is going to be a giveaway. Then I'm thinking of sending these to Diana Wright. She is such a devoted maker of veterans quilts, Quilts of Valor. So here, I know I made these. I do remember making these. I was going to make a special quilt. I don't know if I was going to do it for Quilts of Valor or what, but I'm going to, I think I should donate these to Miss Diana Wright. And there's one, two, is that 2 or 3? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 of them. So maybe she can do something with it. So I'll send those to her. Wish I'd found those before I had sent her package out the other day. This is going to be a giveaway. This little puppy is, I'm trying to remember how old this is, but this is from before my new life, or BH, before happiness. So this, 2003, and my new life started in 2004. So do you see this? I always wanted a fall quilt, but I looked at this and thought, it's all these little border pieces? I don't think so. So I'm going to be passing this on to whichever one of you thinks you could finish it. And it comes with all the fabrics needed to complete it. All right. Then I found this. I don't know why I have it. It's a wonderful it's a canvas weight ironing board cover. And it's made for a real size ironing board. And it's wonderful because it has all the measurements on it so that you can make sure you press a nice and square block. So I don't have a regular ironing board. Why do I have this? So, oh, oh, thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. That's very sweet of you. Okay, so this is going to be in the giveaway. And then here's another block of the month that I must have won. And you know, when you win them, the months that you really adore the colors or whatever, you think, oh, I'd love to win that one. You don't win it. In the month that it's the, you know, the colors or patterns that you are so about, that's when you win. The problem with this one is I think the problem with me winning any blocks of the month is I'm not a scrappy person. And these are naturally scrappy. That's what blocks of the month are. And wow. So anyway, but just so you know, they're great. They're wonderful churn dash blocks, sewed beautifully, nice choice colors, you know, so that will be finding a new home. All right, so that's what I have so far. I will have more, and we'll do the drawing probably in 2 weeks. So that way I can show you the other big basket of stuff. Now, here we go. Oh my gosh. Look, wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. Do you see that? Look at this whole basket. And I've got another overflowing basket for next week. And now I know I have to go and get the things hanging on hangers too. Forgot about those. All right. I started this back in my old life. Oh, it even has a nice little spool of thread in there with it. I was doing this by machine, doing a paper piece. It was a Carol Doak paper piece, but with, I think, very early Jenny Beyer fabric, plus some plain, you know, that's an early Jenny Beyer fabric there. In fact, it was one of her very early borders. This was supposed to be a baby quilt for my granddaughter, who's now 16. Yep, 16. And this is her baby quilt. So I think it's time to finish it. I could do one more row and call it done. I think one more row is all I would need. And I have an interesting story about this. When I had the year that I started my divorce, my son graduated high school. He was the baby. My one daughter graduated college and went off to New Hampshire. And I ruptured my Achilles tendon. So I was crippled. And I was trying to sell my house. And so I went in for my first Achilles tendon surgery to reattach it. And I had this kit with me. And I was working on this in recovery. I was working on it right up until the pain kicked in. And it was so funny because a recovery room nurse was like, "You're sewing? You know, your hand's stitching?" So, bye-bye, Miss Bonnie. Take good care, darling. Thank you for coming by. So this is a 16-plus year project, okay? This would have been from 2003 to 2004. All right. So that's that one. Then this is a cool one. I'd really like to finish this. I got into the Carol Doak stage. And so this is Jenny Beyer fabric, but with paper piecing. And I think that's absolutely lovely. And I really want to finish that. And let me see, it's got some papers in it, so maybe I can see if there's a, these are all, these are all the paper. These are all the papers to use for this. So evidently it's going to be a good size quilt because there are a lot of papers in this. And I don't know, maybe I must have designed it because look, see how it was EQ5. This is so old. And see how I was new to trying to design an EQ and my points don't touch right. Oh, this is too funny. Well, I don't know how many I was planning on making because I can tell you right now, there's not enough fabric in this bag to do a whole lot more. So, but I get tickled. It's like taking a walk down memory lane. But this is definitely one. And you know, even if I decide, okay, this is it, put the borders on, call it done, then let's do that so I can start enjoying it. Because I love putting these things up on the wall. All right, so that is one. This, I would love to have finished this. This was from 2007, and it's called Christmas Cactus Wreath. And that's a lovely pattern. And I hate to say, there's very little, if any, sewing done on this. Everything is cut out, but I don't think I've done any sewing. But with everything cut, it's ready to go. So I will be finishing this. Then I said, Deb, it's a UFO. This is our COVID community quilt that I am going to get finished. Here's a mystery quilt that dates back to like 2003, I believe. And everything is cut, but I think hardly anything is actually sewn. So my mystery didn't get very, okay. I have some small sections sewn. But I wish I knew what this was going to look like when it's done. I don't really see a picture, just some of the clues, like this. Evidently, it's called The Case of the Downtown. This was a Billy Lauder 2001. And I started October 15th, 2006. Okay, because I was going to say 2001, and evidently it's got a lot of blocks like this. But Billy Lauder had some fun mystery quilts. And you know what? That sounds right. 2006, I was in my mystery quilt craze, love. And let me tell you, it really did improve. Mystery quilting improves your quilting skills, your techniques. And here's a lovely, I'm not going to open the bag because it's not that fancy a quilt, but it's with the beautiful blues, tans, and actually some browns. So, and this is a good size, but it's a little simple. It's not like pinwheel blocks. It's not real fancy. But I want to get this done. Here's one I didn't remember doing. Number one, it has to be old. Probably from 2000, 2001. And the reason I know it's old, because this is home decorator fabric. And I know better now than to use home decorator fabric unless I really have to. Also, I know now that the pineapple leaves don't contrast enough. So I need to replace those. But the cool thing is, look at these gorgeous colors. I wove that pineapple. I wove that. So instead of making a whole bunch of diamonds, I wove it. And I've got some more quilt weaving that I've done that I'll show you. But anyway, this doesn't need that much. I'm going to redo the pineapple leaves. And this is something I came up with on my own. And I was born and raised in Virginia, and pineapple is a colonial theme of hospitality. So then here is a lovely Dresden plate quilt that I don't remember doing. And this was done so long ago. Look, oh my gosh, the center, it's awful. Look, it doesn't even come close to matching. None of them even come close to matching. And then the poor, pathetic Dresden, I mean, all of it is just bad. All of it is just bad. I've got these pale yellow corners that look terrible. It's such cheap fabric you can see through it. Then look how I connected the edges of the Dresden wedges. That's pitiful. So, luckily, I only made one block. And I've got a bunch of things cut. And now that I know better, hopefully I can finish it with a little more skill than this one displays. I'm almost embarrassed to show you, but oh my goodness. So this is a Deb that was trying something she wasn't capable of, and it's kind of cute, but I mean, oh my goodness. So I will be redoing it because I think it could be a really pretty quilt. This stripe is amazing. Look at that. So I think I will, let me put the pattern in. I'll try that again. Somewhere I tried making a quilt for my son, and they looked like it was an 8-pointed star, and they were all ball caps. Honest to goodness, they were ball caps. All right, so in this row, I forgot that, about a year or two ago, I made one of these to show you how to make them. And this is, a fabric one time rolled on these, or you can make them with a tube you buy from the post office. But I last week I showed you a bag where I had been doing called Beyond the Cherry Tree, and it's based on a 150-year-old quilt. This is the center block. I didn't know where the rest of the stuff was. This is the center block. And this is all needle turn applique. This is a very special project to me. And it was one of my early appliques. So you'll see that not everything is very straight or steady, but I treasure this. So I have that's the center medallion block. And then I'll show you these. But I love the colors. This was done with the Dimple Fabrics. I forget that fabric designer. But look at these. And this was made from a pattern that was made right from the antique quilt. and it's called Beyond the Cherry Tree. And I just love it. And this has, you had to do the stems with these stems with embroidery stitches. Look at this. This is so sweet. It is so sweet. And then these cute little, so let me see. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to remember how many blocks come in the kit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the center one. And so there's probably 12 blocks altogether. And you know, I didn't know where they were. They were sitting right in this, just waiting for me to finish them. So thank goodness I cleaned this up and found those, because I didn't know where they had gone. And so now I found it, because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Okay. Here is one that might go in the giveaway pile. It was a mystery, but I'm starting to think the biggest mystery is why. But anyway, here are some of the blocks. And it's kind of unusual. This was probably done in 2007. And I'm trying to see if I have a final. I don't think I even have a final picture, but it's maybe, it's something like that. So that was back when you had to kind of start thinking, you know, I like doing mysteries, but not knowing what fabric to use with what design. That gets tricky. This is a Storm at Sea. I took this class at least 5 years ago at the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, and the woman who taught it is now on the West Coast. And she wanted us to pick out 3 fabrics. Well, you know, Deb is kind of, you know, does her own thing, gets herself in trouble. I chose 27 fabrics. Yeah, 27. And back when Mary Jo's was around, and they would cut me a running quarter yard of fabric. Well, the problem is this got so complicated with 27. And Storm at Sea, you kind of, now this is an actual photo. Oh, it's part photo and part where I actually taped the blocks in. What I wanted it to be is to look like the sun is coming through the water. So it's going from light sunlight colors to a dark ocean bottom. But it's kind of tricky. So I never finished this, but I'd like to. I think it would be a lovely thing to finish. And I love the colors. So, but I had no idea where this was. So by cleaning all this stuff up, that's a good thing. All right. Then I hope Miss Michelle's still here. Because, oh, no, this is not that one. Never mind. This is my son's wedding quilt. And it's a big one. And I picked all these fabrics that had things to, they're both musicians. My son and his wife are both musicians. And so all the fabric has everything to do with musical notes and musicians. So this needs to be finished. And I've got to tell you, my favorite way, it's still a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. There's no way to do a double wedding ring that doesn't have a good amount of work. But my favorite method of doing a double wedding ring quilt is the John Flynn method. This is the bridge builder, and he is amazing. And the way he does this makes it so easy. But I need to get this finished because they got married in 2017. It's time. They have 2 kids now. It is time. So that will be one on the high priority list. All right. This I don't have to take out of the package. This was supposed to be a beetle bag. Do y'all remember those beetle bags that people made? And it was kind of a storage bag where you open it and it's got all these pockets and then you roll it back up. That's going to be a beetle bag. This is the one I was going to tell if Michelle's still here. I wanted my Michelle to see because I showed hers. We started these at the same time in 2013. And we started these at the same time. And it was designed by Liz Porter. And this, there it is. And it's a combination of 2 different blocks. It's a combination of 5440 or fight and shoe fly. And it makes a beautiful, beautiful quilt. And this is what I want it to look like. So this, I want to get this done. And I have carried it camping. I've carried it everywhere, hoping that I was going to be soon going to finish this one because it is so absolutely beautiful. And Michelle's already finished and quilted hers. Oh, here we go. Let's see. But it is a beautiful pattern. I just love it. And everything's been cut out. A lot of things have been pre-sewn, like half square triangles, blind geese, all of that. So it's just a matter of get it finished, Deb. But I'm glad I found it because if you had asked me a week ago, I wouldn't have known where it was. So, okay. And you know, this is the shoe fly block. This is the shoe fly part. All right. So I am very happy to have found it. And I will get that finished. And soon, when I get it finished, I'm going to come on here and just brag. Like I did it. All right. So, then, this is one I'm excited to finish. I really did start some wonderful quilts. I really did start some wonderful. This one's called Night Sky. And I took it as a class. And I don't know if y'all remember seeing this. This was probably 2016. But a lovely bright quilt. Just lovely bright quilt. So I need to get this finished. It has a special ruler to use with it. And it is all cut out. It's just a matter of piecing it. And it should be gorgeous. I love the jewel tone colors. I mean, just beautiful. So this one's definitely a keeper. And you know, when I was finding these, I would get so excited. It's like, oh yeah, I want to work on that one. And it's like, okay, Deb, that's still got the problem. There's only 24 hours a day and there's only one of you. So now the last 2 for this week. You've been very good to look at all these. The last 2 for this week. This came from a block of the month. Oh, gosh. Let me look in my book real quickly. This was a block of the month, and they had it in two colorways. They had it in the batik, and then in like a happy floral. And let me see. Oh, I didn't know. I don't know. It was when Eleanor Burns put out a book of kitchen quilts, I think it was. And I can't wait to show you. So we bought a book from Eleanor Burns, which I need to turn around and pass along or sell because, and it was just all things that kind of related to the 1930s kitchen. And I was so tickled that I put the little I made tea bags to go on them. But it's all flowers, different kinds of blocks that relate. And what I was the most happy with is this is going to be the center block. And I wove the basket. And I then did trapunto flowers and vegetables for my center block. And what I did is when they offered, this is another Deb problem, when they offered it two different colorways, I said, I'll do both colorways and make one for one daughter and one for the other one. And so this one, I'm not quite finished with the trapunto work and the applique, but I did get the basket woven and put down. So anyway, I told you I did more weaving, but this was a cute book by Eleanor Burns, and there's an apron, a country apron on here, and we put the rickrack around the apron. So it's just a really cute little series that she did. And I would say that this is probably about going on 10 years old. So it's time to get this finished. All right. So that's it for today. And I think that's enough. That's why I'm breaking these up, because otherwise it's a lot of UFOs. All right. So now let's go look at your quilt. So I think I've shown you all of my goodies today. Let's look at your beautiful work. All right. I'm hoping that I don't. Are there any questions before I go to look at your quilt? Yeah, I love Eleanor Burns. She's so cute. A fun on the farm. Oh, that sounds neat. That sounds neat. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I show all of this stuff to y'all because I figured even the most conscientious of you has a few. And if I show you what I've got, then you'll go, okay, I'm not so weird. I'm not so different. You know, did you see how many Deb had? So I show you all y'all see all my flaws. All right, let's go look at some of your photos. I might have missed some of these photos of yours. And whoops, can you still see me? Make sure you can. Somebody let me know, because sometimes I worry. But, all right. A running quarter yard. Oh, good question, Mary Zaire. All right. A running quarter yard is 9 inches by width of the fabric. And a lot of people prefer fat quarters. What fat quarters are, they take a yard, okay? The old-fashioned way was you have 4 9-inch strips by width of fabric, and that's in a yard. Well, some people said, well, there's not much I can do with a long, skinny strip. So then they started doing what's called fat quarters. And that's where you take a yard of fabric, you divide it down the center. So into 2 21-inch pieces, 21 by 36. Then you take and divide each of those pieces in half. So then you end up with an 18 by 21 piece. And that's how most fabric is sold if you get it quarter yard. It's called a fat quarter because instead of a long running skinny quarter of a yard of fabric, you have a nice fat piece of fabric. So now you know where fat quarter came from. And the running quarters, back when I did that, I knew I needed long strips. So Mary Jo's cut 27 fabrics into 9 inches by width of fabric for me. I miss them. But thanks for asking that, Mary. That was a very good question. Inger is here because Inger was out in the woods. And, oh, it is so good to see Inger. And y'all let me know if anything happens. If you can't see me, tell me. And he returned it unopened. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Yeah, that can happen. And, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, that's his loss because Storm at Seas are just beautiful quilts. All right, let me make sure. Whoops. Can someone tell me if they can still hear me or see me, or, if they can still see I want to make sure I haven't done anything and cut you off. So if you can still hear me, say yes. Somebody. Oh, thank you, Sue. Sue Smith is here. Hi, Sue. All right, let's go see your photos. And I do want to apologize if I missed them. This morning I came back down and was cleaning. And so normally on Sunday morning I go check all the photos. But I apologize. Any that I missed, I will show next week, I promise. All right, I love showing Miss B's amazing moonlight landscape quilt. It is gorgeous. And I mean, look at that. You can see the glow in that. Absolutely beautiful. Healthy water. So I'm going to have to go find where she wrote about that and see. And I know, oh, here, this is a wonderful, she fills these with wheat or rice and you warm them in the microwave and you can put them on your neck or your back or your arm. So that's like, then she had, look at this. She's got 2 little girl great grandbabies, I think. That is fabulous. And she made them some warmers that you can put in the microwave to help keep those little newborns nice and warm. So very, very good. And I'm very excited for her new babies that are being born. I thought I had another one, but I think that file, it didn't come through. All right, so let me see who's next. Betty. We've got some new exciting things from Betty. The first thing, she helped cheer me on by showing me her collage lion. And that really did help. Every bit that you share with me helps give me some bravery and excitement to do mine. Now here is her wonderful Thursday landscape. Every Thursday I do Art Quilt Thursday, and we come in and do whatever kind of art quilt that we feel like. I love things. She's even put some Angelina fibers in there. And this past week on mine, I tried working hard to make sure the lake didn't look like it flees, and he's like peeking out from that. So I'm tickled to see her animal collages as well. I'm finding I'm very much drawn to animal collage, so thank you for sharing those. Okay, Miss Bonnie, we showed her son, and then her niece, grandniece, I believe, and her husband had gotten a Good Neighbor project. I think they gave preference of their parking space to a neighbor who works in one of the essential workers in medical care. So how wonderful. I know you love to hear stories when y'all all pitch in and we help each other. Here's a test quilt she did about bamboo. It's beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we have. I don't think I've got much in the way new. Let me just peek real quick. I'll show you this. I took the class from Jane Hayworth, and she's wonderful. And I was telling people that I knew I wanted to use purple and yellow. Well, I did this ear, and it just didn't look right. And I thought, what am I missing? So I asked the teacher, because it was a Zoom class, and I said, do I need bridge fabric? So a bridge fabric to me is, okay, I have yellow and I have purple, but what fabrics do you have to kind of bring those together so they're not so stark? And this is what she said, yes, try to find some fabrics that help bridge the gap between purple and yellow. And these did a beautiful job. So, and this is how my cow started. Piece by piece, a lot of things changed. She did a wonderful job of teaching me how to give it depth, to give it contrast. That's Mark and Kiwi. And then here's my grandson, one of my granddogs. My son sent me this, and I thought it was so wonderful because he knows I'm a night owl. He's a night owl. And I thought that was wonderful. And then I love this. I forget what this came. I saw it somewhere. And I went on a picnic at our Yadkin River, and so I got some really good landscape photos. I think that was pretty much it for me. Oh, I have another grand dog photo. Let me see. And my daughter and her husband got a new puppy, and they lost their elder dog, Elmer, a few months ago. And I'm so tickled that they opened up their heart for a new puppy. And this is a 9-week-old puppy. He is going to be huge. His brother here is about 45 to 50 pounds. And look at that puppy already. So he's going to give his new brother a run for the money. All right, now let's see. Deborah Dunnell. Yep, you remember her collage kitty. In fact, I need to find out how Miss Deborah's doing. I forgot she had her surgery Friday, so I need to email and see how she's doing, that sweetheart. I really hope that her surgery has corrected her problems and she'll soon be sitting back at her quilting machine and her sewing machine and making beautiful quilts. And so then Dolores sent us yet another amazing photo of her work. This is a gorgeous Carolina wren. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And this is done with confetti pieces background. And in our Thursday group, I gave people 3 ways to do easy confetti work. Confetti work just gives you all of that wonderful color, much easier than any other way. All right. Oh, Deborah, if you watch this, sweetheart, we're thinking of you, darling. We will definitely have to catch up with you. This is Diana Wright's pictures, and I think we've seen these before, so let me kind of go through them pretty quickly. I'm sure she's got some new ones, but I'm sorry. Those are the brioche buns she made for their sliders. They eat really good at Miss Diana's house. Her husband is a very, very talented metal worker and welder, and he made these new vent covers for their pool because they were just plastic. And he made stainless steel ones. There's her brioche buns. There was the old plastic version, and his stainless steel will work much better. This is Diana and her son, Nick, and they went to a fish boil and had a wonderful time. And he had just finished eating his first crawfish or crayfish. There's a plate of them. And for some of you who might not know what these mud bugs are, they're miniature lobsters. And people in the South love them. All right. There we go. Her beautiful quilt. The pool checked out after all that. Look at that ice and snow. So all is well. I love those pictures, and I know she probably put more. I'll get them next week. This is Miss Inger's photos, and she made these beautiful placemats for her parents. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And then let's see the next one. All right. The next one, I assume, is for her father. And Miss Inger, you know, is from Norway and very talented. Look at all these fish. Isn't that precious? Love, love, love it. And Miss Inger had said something about going out into the woods. And so I hope she had an enjoyable time getting out to nature. Beautiful Miss Inger. So let's see. Here's her Dresden plate pattern, just beautiful. And I showed y'all last week how to make those nice points, which makes it very neat and tidy to put on to a quilt. And look at this baby outfit that she made for a friend's baby. Isn't that beautiful? All right. I think, let's see. Oh, there's one more, I think. Hold on. Oh, this is when she was out in the woods. And it's hard to see right now, but this is evidently her dog. And look at the creek with the snow. Isn't that beautiful? I wish I could show you even more accurately how lovely that is. All right. Now we are Jamie's, where they have decorated. They are getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, and this is the cutest thing. And he has lights on him, and so he's got a St. Patty's Day hat on. He's decorated for St. Patty's Day. And let's see. And if Miss Crystal is here, we want to say hi to Miss Crystal. There's their tablescape, just lovely. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I did go to download some new photos this morning, but the computer froze, and I went, "Oop, don't have time now. Got to go downstairs and get ready." So I do apologize that I don't have your newest photos picked up, but I will get them next week. So here's Frankie. You know that I have been so enamored of this with Miss Jody. And there he is completed. Just beautiful. Luckily, she made him a bride so he wouldn't be lonely. Look at the work and the effort it takes to put into her collage portrait painting. And it's just beautiful. And so here are the steps in the process. Isn't that amazing? So she just takes it step by step. And before you know it, it starts to come alive. There they are together. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I just love her work. Very, very talented. Way to go, Miss Jody. We're going to get her in a quilt show. It won't be long. We'll get her there. Okay, Miss Linda shared with us. She's the talented painter and quilter. And look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I love that landscape. There's her seascape. Absolutely beautiful. And look at the beautiful watercolor painting she did of roses. Very talented. I'm so proud of this group because the amount of talent here is amazing. Whoops. Nope, don't need this one. Let's go back. That's all of my research for our landscape work. So here is a miniature quilt that Miss Nadine did one weekend. Isn't it beautiful? She wanted to do log cabins. That is just gorgeous. Way to go, Miss Nadine. Beautiful landscape sky. Her photography is amazing. And here is a spring quilt that she is working on, most likely Edita Sitar, her favorite designer. So thank you for sharing that with us, Miss Nadine. It's so precious. I love the bunnies on it, tulips, Just charming. All right. And then she had a lot of snow recently too. Okay. Now who is next? Miss Patricia Fry. And she has been very busy. And she noticed that there was one little azalea bloom that popped out in February. And she also decorated for St. Patrick's Day. I think that's wonderful. And she won this from a fabric sale, Miss Judy Lilly. So she got quite a deal on this. And that is some people call it like a wacky wedge type. And she's going to finish that quilt. It's beautiful. Can't wait to see that finished. Going to be amazing. All right. Now let me see. We know Miss Susan. Let's see. She also did quilt testing of the bamboo quilt. And we're missing her today, but she must be working on a deadline. I think she's looking for her next piece of land and to get her new little farm that she wants to. I know they'll be so happy in. This is Susie Blake, and here are two of her landscapes that she's working on. I'm so tickled when people share their photos. This is her mountain house up in Michigan. Absolutely beautiful. A lot of inspiration there, isn't it? Just gorgeous. So thank you for sharing that, Miss Susie. All right. I think that is it for today. And I will say I am sorry that I didn't pick up your new photos, but I will be getting those soon. Now let me make sure I don't hurt anything while I turn you back around. If you can still hear me and see me, would somebody just say yes? And that way I know I didn't unhook anything. So Bobby Ann. There's a Bobby Ann. Her notes from a dreamer. Hi, Bobby Ann. Okay, that's who you are. So thank you, Miss Laura. Because sometimes, Thursday night, I got back from showing the photos and I couldn't see the chat. And so I kind of was like, okay, I think I might have lost y'all, but thank you for being here. And then I got confused and I thought, well, are they here or not? And I thought I had closed out and I was saying, shoot. I was still on. So anyway, but thank you for today. It's so much fun. And I will save the giveaways and we'll add to them with some of the things from next week. But I wanted to say, doing a UFO accounting has been a wonderful thing. I don't know why I was afraid of it all these years, but I've discovered all new treasures that I can't wait to finish. So any questions that you might have, please just let me know. I've got a couple extra minutes just to chat and say hi. Thank you, everyone, for saying yes. Thank you, sweethearts. Y'all are the best. And I'm hoping, cross your fingers, I'm hoping my bracket will be able to start getting vaccinations by March 24th. I'm so ready to have my vaccination. I want to start life again. Please, if you possibly can, get vaccinated. That's the only way for our country to come out of this nightmare that it's been in for the last year. And my daughter got hers. She had a sore arm for a few hours and then nothing. She said it was so worth it. And she's a teacher. So what is under the Teflon ironing table? Good question. What I have under it is a dresser. And in the dresser, I keep plastic bags. I keep sewing supplies. And sometimes certain projects. Whoops. Hopefully you can still see me, but I keep some projects down in here. So this is my ironing station and on top of a dresser. Right there is a big cutting table that will pull out from the wall. I'll have to show you that one week. I can pull it out from a wall. It has a flap that folds up so that I get a 4 by 7 foot space to do cutting. And sadly, I hardly ever use it. I think the last time I used it was in 2009 when I made my daughter's wedding gown. But it's nice. It's on wheels and I can move it around. In the center, you see a little bit of fabric right there. And I have some storage. I have 2 cabinets, kitchen-style cabinets with plywood on top and a cutting mat. And all of my furniture we cobbled together, from dressers we got or old kitchen cabinets. And then if you look over on this wall, I have mismatched kitchen cabinets from, this is like my 6th house I bought. So those are all mismatched kitchen cabinets from different houses I've owned. And then I have some tables on wheels so I can move everything out. And in between the cabinets, I just Mark put plywood and plywood in the corner so I had shelves and storage. Then on this wall, I have a few things. My electric spool here that I take to retreats that I can plug my wires in and then connect. And then I have a quilting frame and then just a little decorations and a door to go to the outside. And I don't know if I can get around more, but then I have a window right here over my desk where I sit. And I have some plants and some supplies. Oh, yes. I decided a while back that keep my rulers where I can see them. So I just put little nails on all the cabinet doors, and then it makes it very easy to see. And there's a little quilt from Miss Bonnie. Whoops, right there. That came from Miss Bonnie before my surgery. Here are some of my art quilts hanging there. And then I have some stuffed animals because I'm very much in touch with my inner child. I've got Kiwi's perch. I'll have her down here with me next week so y'all can see. And then you see let me see if you can see it. There's a dark hallway right down there behind this rolling design board. Down there is a hallway, and I have my closet, and on the closet doors, I starched flannel, and that acts as a design wall. The only thing is you can't get very far away from it. So at one point, I tried to turn this wall into a design wall, but it's over top of a fireplace, so it made it kind of tricky. So then what I did is took this cheap laundry rack, covered it with a flannel casing I made for it, and I kind of use that as a design wall. So that's kind of a quick tour of the room. And the desk I use here, I'll make sure to take a snapshot. It was an old teacher's desk, and it's big. And I love it because my sewing machine is set down into it. Mark cut the hole in it to set my sewing machine down. And then this desk is a 1940s child desk. So what I have here is a U-shaped sewing area. I do my cutting on the antique child's desk, and then I do my ironing here, and then my sewing is right here in front. So I've got a nice U-shaped sewing area that is wonderful. And I have an old cheap cabinet right. Whoops, let me see it. Oh, I don't know if I can get you around enough. Right there. And mic on, because I went through a stage where I kept forgetting. And but Anyway, let me see if I can get you back around. Am I still here? Somebody, if they can say yes. Oh, I will get the landscape quilt with the sheets. I will get that out for next week. So I will write myself a note so I don't forget, and I will get that out because I'd like to finish that. That would definitely. I'm writing a note right now. But that's kind of a quick tour of my room. The thing I love about it, paint. All these cabinets are totally different. Paint them all one color. Nobody knows. And put a pretty color paint on the walls that makes you happy when you come down. And try to have enough storage for all the doodads. Because there are a lot of doodads around here. Okay, so the sheet quilt. I will get that out for you. I have a couple landscape plus my seascape. So I'll get all that stuff out and show you. Thank you for saying yes. So that was a quick, that was kind of nice, an impromptu tour of the room. There was one thing I was going to show you if I could. And I'm really tickled. I mean, I show you all my mistakes, but this is a quilt up here that I really, really like. And do you see it up on the wall? Whoops, let me see if I can. It's a sunflower quilt, and it's right there. And I love it because it's 3D, and I have on it, I'll have to bring it down to show you. Maybe next week I can bring it down and show you. But I also did the butterflies that are on it. And what I did is I took a water-soluble, what do you call it? Water-soluble product, put it in a hoop, drew on it with a permanent marker like a Sharpie, because if you use a water-based marker, it'll melt it. And then I used some really gorgeous threads and colored and filled in a butterfly on my machine. And then when I went to rinse out the water-soluble, I only rinsed out half of it. And that left it stiff enough so that while it was damp, you could shape the wings of the butterfly. And so I'll have to bring that down so I can show you. Let me tell you, Mary Zaire, I can relate. And I'll never have this much space again. I know it. I mean, I'm going to have to learn to downsize. That's one of the reasons I want to finish all my projects because, hello, Carol Green. I, for years, sewed on the dining room table. And I can remember being up all night trying to make Easter dresses for my girls. And as I've gotten older and they've left home and stayed away, and I've been able to recover space. And this is this is a basement room. Luckily, I have 2 windows and a door that walks out. And it does get a little chilly in the winter. But I love this space so much. It makes me so happy every time I come down in it. And when I can keep it clean, I like it a lot more. So cleaning it up I've been kind of piddling with it for the last few weeks, but it makes it wonderful. Then upstairs, since it's just Mark and I and the dogs and the chickens and the birds, and so I took over one of the smallest bedroom, and that's where I keep my quilt frame. So I'll have to do a show from up there to kind of show you what that's like. I understand, Sue and Carol. I do understand. Or Mary Zaire. It's going to be hard to do away with this space. And when Mark retires, I told him he would like to go live in a condo at the beach. And I'm going to have to learn to use one corner of a small room, and I'm going to miss this. I have been very lucky. And it took a long time, but I finally got it. So, you know what? I would be happy how to show you. I will definitely then show you how to do the butterflies. Let me write that down too, because I'll forget. But I will do the butterflies, and that way when I take down the quilt next week, I'll show you the butterflies and the quilt and show you that The new thing for me is 3D quilts. When they pop out of just the face of the fabric, it's exciting. Another thing I wanted to tell you all real quick too is I was going, oh, you take care, Inger. It's so wonderful seeing you, honey. And but I was going to tell you that. Let me see. Talking about things popping out of quilts. I don't know. See, the train left the station without me. So, yeah, I might have to do something, or Mark is just going to have to get used to living in a studio because he knows I'm so happy as long as I'm working. You take this stuff away from me, I might not be that nice. All right, guys. Well, y'all take good care of yourselves. It was so nice to spend another Sunday with you. And next week, I'll teach you how to do your own lace butterflies. And I'll show you that quilt. Plus, I've got the last basket of UFO quilts. And I better finish my Bargello. I promised y'all. But I did get the packages mailed this week, so I'm proud of that. Have a good week, all of you. Please, as soon. Oh, wow. So you do. Mary Zaire has to be very economical. And, but if you, as soon as you can, please get the vaccine. It is so good and so safe. And it's working. Our numbers have come down so far. And you're all so important. So take good care of yourself. Do something special just for you. And the first warm day, go take a little walk and enjoy. It's been a long winter. I love all of you. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody. It's so good seeing all of you. Sue, welcome back. Y'all take good care. Bye-bye, guys. Have a great week.